If you intend driving this pass, we recommend watching Part 1 first, which contains relevant and important information as well as the Google Earth orientation clips. This video covers the western descent of the pass, starting at the summit, which has an altitude of 831 meters, and ending on the outskirts of Paarl adjacent to the toll booth pay points. These sweeping views are from the summit point, which is reached 7.5 kilometers after the start. The western descent is fairly long at 14 kilometers and descends a total of 649 vertical meters. Most of the descent has a reasonable gradient averaging out at 1 in 14. Despite the efforts to improve the road over the years, there are many sections that are only 2 lanes wide and an almost complete lack of safety shoulders exists. In general, overtaking is difficult due to the many bends, blind corners and curves, and it was mainly this reason which caused motorists much frustration, and inevitably that led to risky driving, which in turn led to many fatal accidents. The pass used to experience severe congestion, and ultimately the new route through the Huguenot Tunnel had to be built. The road still carries many heavy trucks, and they are often involved in serious accidents from time to time. There has been talk in recent times of instituting a mass limit of 3.5 tons on this old road. As far as we are concerned, the sooner the better. The only reason trucks use the old pass is to avoid paying toll fees. There are 34 bends and corners along the descent and 24 rest stops and picnic sites. On weekends, these spots are popular, and almost all of them will be occupied by people enjoying the fantastic views and fresh air. Note that due to the area being prone to mountain fires, no fires are allowed whatsoever. As far back as 1846, Charles Mitchell and Andrew Geddes Bain carried out a considerable investigation and survey of the Toits Kloof route. They estimated that the cost would be £340,000 sterling, which would have to have been paid by the inhabitants of Paarl and Worcester. This was clearly impossible, so the proposal was dropped. In 1858, Captain George Pilkington, who succeeded Mitchell as colonial civil engineer, chose another line for which he gave an estimate of £45,000, but even this cost was too high for the ratepayers. Nothing much happened for quite some time after this. The next noteworthy action was in 1929, when the town engineers of Paarl and Worcester teamed up to survey a route through the kloof. This reduced the distance between their towns by 15 kilometers. Their estimate of the cost was £30,000 to £40,000, but no action resulted, but the pressure to build a road was mounting. Mr. P.A. de Villiers was involved with Toits Kloof at intervals throughout his career. It was he who promoted the idea of a road through the kloof whilst working for the Cape Provincial Roads Department, and in 1932 actually persuaded the Chief Inspector of Roads, Mr. F. Beck, to accompany him on a walk through the kloof. During 1940, P.A. de Villiers ran a survey through Toits Kloof and prepared a report with an estimate of £360,000. This was the location on which the alignment and design were based when the road was constructed. But South Africa was at war then, and most of the padmakers, engineers and support staff alike had volunteered for service and were active at points further north. So nothing could be done until the Roads Department was approached in 1941 to provide occupation for some of the thousands of Italian prisoners of war who were interned for the duration. 400 to 500 POWs were thus sent to Toits Kloof to commence the construction of the new road. The heading remains southerly till the 16-kilometer point, where the road curls through a full horseshoe bend with a fairly tight radius. After this bend, the road heads into the north-northwest for 1 kilometer, then curves away to the left and heads west all the way to the foot of the pass. The lower reaches of the pass traverse a few private farms, and sometimes slow-moving vehicles will access the pass from several of these concealed entrances. The fynbos and protea-clad slopes give way here to plantations of mainly bluegum and pine. The pass was officially opened by the Prime Minister, Dr. D.F. Malan, on Saturday, the 26th of May, 1949. It was, however, not until 1951 that the new national road link between Paarl and Cape Town was completed. At this point, the gradient eases off to 1 in 20 as the road curves to the right and descends steadily to overpass the N1 once more, where one gets a bird's eye view of the traffic queuing up at the toll pay point. The pass ends officially at the 21.5 kilometer mark adjacent to the toll booths.
you.